Okay, what a dominant performance tonight. I really felt the guys had great preparation, especially once we got down to Houston, and they were focused, they were galvanized, they were wanting to make a statement, and we wanted to play, and you could tell that as the game started. Did something we typically don't do. We won the toss and took the football because I wanted Skyler with the ball in his hands, and he made some plays on that first drive to get us a lead. We get a quick stop, get another quick score. And give them credit. They did a nice job right before half to cut it to 21-7, but then we were able to get a stop right away in the second half. And then just can't say enough about the resolve of our guys and the play of guys like Skyler, our offensive line, Deuce, all the receivers and stuff. Man, we just made plays against a really good pass rush, against I think a really talented defense. And then we came up with the stops when we had to on defense. And about December 15th, we got done with finals, and we had our first team meeting after that. And we said, hey, look, if you're in here for this meeting and you go to practice right after this meeting, you're in. You're all in till January 4th. And all those guys stayed in. And that was myself and the seniors saying, hey, you're all with us. There's no opting out. There's no bailing out. You're here with us. And that's a credit to those seniors, a credit to those leaders, because this was a big game for us. And I think you guys know that as well, how big of a game this was for us, and to come out and play like we did and beat a good LSU team pretty handily says an awful lot about the guys in that locker room. Phenomenal. And, Fitz, I think you could see he was healthy tonight. I think the extra week helped us playing this thing on January 4th. And for him to be on point like he was and know that people were coming after him and hanging in there and throwing some strikes, he was phenomenal.
You're just the second coach ever to win a bowl game at Kansas State. Any reaction to that?
I didn't even think about it like that. It's fun to win a bowl game. First time I've won a bowl game. Won a few national championships and been on a stage, but this was pretty special. And my hat's off to K-State Nation and the fan base for coming out. What an electric crowd, and our fans were in it from the start. Our guys really got energized by our fan base, and a credit goes to our fan base for how loud they were, because I think they had fun watching our guys play.
How imperative was it when the running game got stoned at the outset to be able to switch gears right into the passing game?
Well, we had plans on throwing the football. We knew they had some new guys in the back end, and we were going to throw the football. We have some really good wideouts. We have some really good tight ends. We lined up in a lot of different empty formations and motioned some things and did some creative things on offense. And it was fun to watch those guys execute at a high level. And they were still coming after us. These guys, they got a good pass rush, and Skyler hung in there, and we knew we had to throw the ball.
What were your emotions lifting that trophy with Skyler, who's been with you
Man.
since you've been here?
Knowing that kid since he was in high school, and when he got hurt last year, I was obviously devastated and crushed for him. Knowing we had the COVID year, he and I think had a couple of conversations that we weren't going to announce anything, but he was going to come back and play. But to see what he went through this year, getting nicked up early in the season, fighting his way back and playing well on one leg really, and then getting banged up late in the season. The kid just means the world to me. I love him. I love his family. He's been great to my kids and my wife, and to see him go out like that, because this game was huge for him too. He wanted to play well in this bowl game, and he did.
Coach, how sweet was that moment? You get him off the field, they start chanting his name, you kind of hug him for a while.
Yep.
You kind of share what you told him, and how was that for you as a coach?
Just told him I loved him, and told him I'd do anything in the world for him. He told me he loved me, and he'd always have my back, and that's a sign of building relationships with kids, and that's something that's really important to me, is building relationships with these guys, and that kid's going to hold a special place in my heart forever.
Chris saw you give Colin a big hug there.
Yeah.
What did you think of his job?
He was great. Under a lot of tough circumstances too. We were down a couple offensive coaches, and some guys stepped up. And proud of Brian LePack, proud of Christian Ellsworth, and Will Burnham, and the rest of the offensive staff for rallying around Colin. And that's BA, and that's Riles as well for rallying around Colin. And I thought Colin, we had great dialogue throughout the game, and was excited about continuing. I just kept telling him, keep putting pressure on him, keep applying pressure, don't take the foot off the gas. And he had a lot of things dialed up really well, but the preparation is what made us so successful, because we were prepared for a lot of the looks we saw.
What was the team's buy-in when you go through a 3-game losing streak and you kind of overcome things and reach this point?
Our kids have never wavered. Our kids have never panicked. Our kids have great resolve. They trust each other. They love each other. And yeah, I mean, that's part of a season. And we lost a couple of games, but at the end that we were disappointed in, but we didn't flinch. And guys, 8-5 is a good season, and we can build off of that. It's a hell of a lot better than 7-6. And these guys were not going to be denied today.
We've talked a lot about the offense, but the defense came into this game not really knowing what to expect from LSU.
Yeah, and I thought they got us off balance a little bit, because 13 was a really good runner, and we stuffed them a few times, and then they did some really good things and some trick plays and stuff, which they had to do without having a real throwing quarterback. But we were able to get a couple of big turnovers. We didn't tackle it exceptionally well, but give those guys credit. Those guys ran hard, and they're big up front, and we made the stops when we need to make them. We were probably a little upset that we gave up the touchdown at the end of the first half that kind of gave them some life, but then the big stop to start the third quarter.
The beginning of the game, the way you methodically drove the ball down the field, you had the longest, the longest drive in Texas Bowl history.
Well, it's preparation, and I thought Colin called a really good game, and I thought kids made plays. I thought we made some really good plays. I think we probably completed maybe one fourth down conversion there, and if not two. And I've got a lot of trust in what Skyler can do on fourth down, and we knew we were going to go for some of those on fourth and short, and saw the looks we liked, and he made some checks and made some big plays.
How clutch were your third down conversions?
Pardon me?
How clutch were your
Third down was critical. Fourth down was critical. I mean, just put it in Seven's hands, and he was seeing the field really well. He was making some great checks at the line of scrimmage, and I thought our offensive line played really well. And so he was able to stay in there, hang in there, and make some big-time throws.
Every press conference you're asked this question, but what does Deuce Vaughn mean to your team?
He's the best player in college football, in my opinion, and he's, for a reason, a consensus first-team All-American. And he's the most humble kid that I've been around, but he's a workhorse, and our players love him, and he loves K-State, and he's big time. And I love the kid, and I love his heart and his resolve, and the fact that he wants the football.
Chris, right after making that big catch, how tough was that to see Landry go down?
Yeah, it was really frustrating. Landry's been a guy that's just been a steady player for us, had a really good year. Affected us a little bit on special teams because he's one of the best special teams players we have. I felt awful for him, but he made a big-time play, and it's going to happen, unfortunately, in this game.
How do you perform from Malik Knowles today?
Pardon me?
Malik Knowles today, what was the performance do for the team?
He played really well. He was ready to go, and we were going to spread the ball around. With the wideouts we have and the tight ends we have, and obviously you throw Deuce in there, Skyler's got some guys to pitch it around to, and I thought he kept everybody involved, and everybody was a viable option, and the communication on the sideline and the communication on the field, those guys were on point in the passing game. That was fun to watch.
What do you say most excites you about next season? Now that you're pulling out?
Can I enjoy this one for a little bit? I think you can build on what we did to win this bowl game in January. Give us a little bit of time off. We've got a lot of talented guys coming back, and I think they'll have a lot of energy going in the off season. But I'm going to try to cut it down and relax for a little bit.
Chris, this is kind of sort of about next season, but obviously after seeing the offense, the way they performed, a lot of fans maybe think that Colin should get the job. And how much will this performance maybe factor into when you make this?
It was a body of work, and he and I'll visit after he gets a little break because he needs a break as well. But I loved his preparation, and he had a great body of work. And the guys love Colin Klein, and they're going to play their tails off for Colin, and they should because he's K-State in my mind. I mean that Sky is too. You play quarterback here, you're the face of the program, and we got one that's just leaving us in Sky. and one that's here with us in Colin, and it's so fun to see those guys because they bleed purple.